Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So guys, I have an exciting video. I'm going to be answering two of your guys' questions that you sent in. So I'm definitely excited to dive into this. Just before I do, guys, we do have a free course, How to Find Your Blocks to Manifest Anything Fast. This course I wrote completely free for you to, basically, it's going to help you create your mental diet, okay? It's so important to get clear on what you want and to make sure your thoughts are in line with what you want, because you're the only one standing in the way of yourself. And, you know, sometimes we don't even realize that some things are holding us back. Like, for instance, you know, questioning is a block. You know, if you're questioning, you know, does he like me? Doesn't he like me? Does she like me? Why aren't we together? Are we going to be together? Why haven't they called? I mean, that's not focusing on what you want, which is communication, relationship, right? So, you know, if you want to see things in your 3D, you need to start creating and preparing them in your 4D. And questioning isn't, you know, it doesn't quite get you there. So yeah, the free course is in the description below. Yeah, what else? My course, How to Create the Relationship You Love, as well as the affirmation track to get rid of the third party, are on sale right now. That course, so many people have gotten so many results with it. Yeah, I've had it for years. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out for sure. As well as the affirmation track, it is about getting rid of the third party, but it actually doesn't focus on the third party. It focuses on your relationship with your SP. Okay, so let's, you know, just to make that completely clear in that affirmation track. So yeah, let's dive into your guys's questions. Oh, by the way, guys, we do have a Facebook group. I don't know, on the Facebook group, we have a bunch of success stories and that sort of thing. So definitely check that out. So first question, it says, hey, I hope you guys are still taking questions to be answered in videos. We absolutely are, actually. We might not be for long because we are getting a huge number of them. So we can only do so many. So that's why I'm doing two in this one video. I would love to know how to manifest marriage with a new person instead of someone you already know. Specifically, if you made a list of qualities you want and you want to manifest them and being married to them. We normally focus on SP, but not really manifesting someone out of thin air and marrying them. Okay. So I took this question because this is exactly how I manifested Andrew in my life. Okay. So at that time, I did have a different SP. Okay. So SP only stands for specific person, or some people say special person. Okay. So that's what that stands for. So when I wrote the list, okay, I was chasing this one person, sort of. Well, not really chasing, but I was manifesting them, right? And I was getting, actually, there was two SPs that I had, and I was getting a lot of hot and cold from them because I had my own stories and my own things. So, and then I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to like start, you know, this list. And I wrote this list, and I was actually still hanging out with both of those SPs. And I remember I was at one SP's house, and I remember saying to him, you know, I went to this networking event and this lawyer was like chasing me. Like, he literally likes me. Like, he's like literally like following me around everywhere. Like, I get the feeling that he wants to date me. And, you know, and that conversation, we had that, you know, like I had the feeling. So, you know, what I was doing at the time is, even though I had the two SPs, I was still working on that. But at the same time, I said, whoever's on this list is going to show up, and they're going to show up in my life, and they're going to show up now, and I'm going to recognize them. And I remember in that conversation when I mentioned to this other SP, you know, that I was interested in, that this lawyer was chasing me, right? He says, well, you know, maybe you should give him a chance, you know? And of course, like in the moment, I was like annoyed at this SP for telling me to go after somebody else. But I was like, fine, you know, thinking to myself, fine, I will, like, whatever, you know, like I've got so much resistance here, and you know what, there's no commitment here. So I'm free to move about my 3D however I please. And yeah, maybe I will just do that, I thought to myself, you know. So a funny thing is I went on a date with Andrew, and then after that first date, second date, things were going so well. I actually found my list, which I had basically buried in all these papers. And sure enough, on that list, I read it. It was like basically Andrew. I was like, oh my goodness. And so I wanted a lawyer, and I wanted somebody funny. And he would say to me, he's like, in the first date, he said, you know, I'm a lawyer and I'm funny. He's like, that's a very rare quality. He's like, most lawyers aren't funny. And I was like, and he's like, it's really odd to find someone like me. You know, I'm very specific, you know, he's saying, and it was so weird that he had said that. And I looked on my list, you know, he's a lawyer and funny, you know, and all these things, right? And So when you're manifesting, okay, that list, okay, what you do, and what I did was, you know what, I just kept reaffirming, like, no, you know what, that guy off my list is going to show up. That guy on my list is going to show up. And I was still affirming for those other two SPs. But when the guy on that list showed up, he was perfect. Like, Andrew was everything I put on that list. So, of course, I was like, okay, these other two SPs that I've got, like, obviously a lot of resistance to and, like, some weird story about, bye-bye, the guy of my dreams shows up. So, I mean, you don't have to have other SPs in play, right? So how you would manifest someone out of thin air, and you can also Google on our channel. I've done lots of videos on how to manifest someone new. And I believe a couple of our coaches also have a course on how to manifest someone new. What you basically do is you just, reaffirm that the person on your list is going to show up and you're going to know it. The person on my list, they're going to show up and I'm going to know it. And we're going to, get together. And because your manifestation is going to chase you. Okay. So right now, like, you create the avatar of that SP because you are the creator in your reality. He'll come out of the woodwork or she'll come out of the woodwork and they'll just be like, I'm here. Right. So, you know what, go over your list. Okay. Reread your list and say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to find the person off this list. They're going to find me and I'm going to know it's them immediately because they're going to do this or they're going to do that or they're going to say this. Okay. You can create the how, or you can just go look at it. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to know it the minute it's going to happen. And it's going to happen. And it's going to happen now because there is no such thing as time. And there's no such thing as having to wait. Okay. Right now, there's a reality where you two are together. Okay. But right now, you know what? Start creating their looks. Okay. What do they look like? So if they're real inside your mind, they're going to show up in your reality. They're already there. Okay. So what you're focusing on, instead of focusing on an actual SP in the 3D, you're focusing on the SP that you're creating in your 4D, okay? And you're reaffirming that they're going to show up exactly like on your list and even better, and they're going to look like this and you're going to know it and all this sort of thing, okay? So I intend that definitely helps you. That was an excellent question, okay? Excellent question. So, and the other thing, is, it's okay to manifest more than one SP, right? If I've done that many occasions, right? So, it is what it is, right? But if you got a story, that you can't do that, then, it's going to be a problem, right? So, you work within your belief system, right? Yeah. Okay. Second question. Hello, Amanda. I hope you're doing well. I am. Thank you. And Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I intend that everybody has a prosperous, a successful, and a new year filled with loving connections with your SP. I intend, like, everybody gets their SP, like, right now, like it's happening. Okay. So here's the question. I've been facing an unfair situation for a few months now. A neighbor made a false accusation to the police accusing my mother and me of hitting her. However, on that day, it was actually she who had pushed my mother, who had just removed her cast, and I pushed her back in defense of my mother. Yet she lied, claiming my mother slapped her and that I punched her. Police did not believe her, so she appealed to the Court of Appeal. So she's doing this to get compensation, which is why she won't drop the case. My mother and I are summoned to court in January. The problem is that she won't stop here because her goal is to get money and she'll continue to appeal. This is a very stressful situation for me, especially for my mother who's 64 years old, and I don't want her to face a court trial. What can I do? This woman is full of malice and hatred. How should I handle this? Please help me. Okay. So one thing that I would like to just say straight up, okay, because we are talking about, physical violence, okay, is it's never okay, even if you believe in LOA, to be a doormat or, to be in an abusive situation. So I just want to get that out of the way right now. If you are ever in an abusive situation, leave, okay? Even if you're manifesting, recreating them and changing them or selecting a different version of them, do not stay in a dangerous situation until you do that, okay? Always get yourself safe, okay? Manifesting and being the God of your reality does not mean that you keep yourself in dangerous situations, okay? So just want to say that straight up right now. You can change your situations, but, I was actually in an abusive relationship way back in my early, late teens. And, as much as I wanted to recreate that situation, you got to leave, okay? you can't stay somewhere where, something is dangerous happening. So let's just throw that out there right now. So this particular incident, okay, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to change the story. You need to change the story of this woman. Okay. So right now you're holding the story that she's going to do anything to get compensation because she wants money. You're going to have to change. Okay. She's going to show up how you assume her to show up. So right now, there's a really solid story, that this woman is not going to stop. Like you said, she's not going to stop. She's appealing. She's going to keep doing this till she gets money. Okay. So you need to change that story to look at, she's going to back off. She's going to realize that no one believes her. She's going to realize that the evidence doesn't add up. Okay. When mom's not going to go to court, she's just going to give up. She's going to go do something else with her life. Okay. So this is really important when you're manifesting anything in your life, in your relationship, whether it be, winning a court case or a dispute or manifesting an SP, you need to spend time creating the story about them, or even, with the last question, the person off the list. Okay. You need to spend time creating how that person thinks and what they think of things. Okay. And what they think of the situation, what they think of you. Okay. So for instance, if it's you're manifesting an SP, like, from a list. Okay. Well, you know what? They're going to see me and say that I'm the most beautiful woman in the world. They're absolutely going to be in love with me. And they're going to tell me I have the most gorgeous eyes ever. And they're going to tell me that they can't stop looking at me and that they absolutely love me and need to be with me. Okay. This particular question. Okay. This lady, she's going to give up because she realizes that nobody believes her and the evidence isn't there to support it. She doesn't have the money to keep going to the Court of Appeal. So she's just going to completely give it up. Like, put as much evidence and story, and she realizes that she's looking dumb, and she realizes that this isn't the way to make money. It's actually costing her more money than it is, that she thinks she's gonna win, right? Intend that somebody, her lawyer tells her to back off, and start, basically create the story of how would you, okay, let's say that this got dropped and it didn't happen. How would you tell me? You'd be like, oh man, you know what? It was great. Her lawyer basically told her to back off and that it was a waste of time and that she wasn't going to win. And then, you know what? She ended up like backing off. And we were so happy because my mom didn't really want to go through with this, right? And everybody knew that she was lying. So as long as you're holding this woman in this villain role, she's going to have to be a villain. Right? So we need to change what we're thinking up here. So I'm not saying, okay, let's just go straight to, she's a wonderful person, would never do such a thing. You don't have to do that. But you know what? Write the story that, so I remember somebody had actually done something and posted something bad about me that was actually a lie. And I was intending it would come down. And then I ended up turning around and basically intending that their lawyer would tell them to take it down. And sure enough, their lawyer told them to take it down and they took it down because what they were doing was slander. Okay, so so you can, and I didn't intend that, oh, this person's so nice and likes me. That's a stretch for me. But was it a stretch for me to intend that their lawyer would intervene and talk some sense into them? No, absolutely not. Okay, so, at the end of the day, that, use that because that's a believable story. You know what I mean? And, a believable story that, the lawyer says, hey, look at the cops don't even believe you. Everything's stacked up against you. You're wasting money with this appeal and, and do that route. So find some way to make this believable. And then also, start creating that me and my mom are good enough to be treated with respect. Okay. Me and my mom are good enough to get what we want right now. Okay. So I intend that helps you, change the story. So, sure, she's full of malice and hatred. And if you want to create her like that, that's fine. But it's not directed towards you. Okay. I'm going to do the world a favor. And I'm going to say that this woman has changed her mind and realized that being, full of malice and hatred is not doing anything but poisoning herself. And she's decided to move on and be a nice, forgiving person. Okay. And that she realizes, that it's easier for her to just drop this and move on than it is to pursue it. Okay. So, either way, you need to change the story about what her goal is, right? And you know what? I'm sorry, this may be hard. If your mom wants to talk about it and fuel the old story, you're going to have to stop it and say it in the 3D to your mom, okay, look, we need to think positive about this, okay? Or you need to start, shifting the story, if you are talking about it with your mom or other people, and start intending that they start seeing it positively. Like for instance, if it was me, I would go, okay, my mom doesn't believe it's going to go anywhere. My mom keeps reassuring me that she's just going to drop it and get bored board and walk away. You know what I mean? But if your mom is, helping you, project this negative story, and you guys are sitting down over a cup of tea talking about, how she lied and she's never going to stop because she wants money, you're going to have to stop that conversation in the 3D. You're going to have to stop it in your head in the 4D as well as the 3D, because guys, when you're talking with people around you, you're talking things into existence. Okay. It's very powerful. Okay. When you share, anything, okay, your manifestation, your goals, your dreams, your complaints, you're bringing all of those you're creating them all into your reality. You're bringing them all into the light. You're speaking them into existence. You've created them and somebody else is listening. Okay. So, and I've even done it today. I was talking with someone and they were complaining and I was like, oh, look, I really don't want to create that story. We were talking about mechanics and how this mechanic was trying to basically rip off a woman, and it's a common thing to happen. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like, you know what? I'm like, I've actually never had that happen. This is the first time I've heard it happen. And I'm not going to create that story. I intend everywhere I take my car in to get fixed, they're always really honest with me and only do the repairs that my car needs. Okay. Period. I intend that people treat me with respect, and you know what? And they never, try to do anything like that. So, if you're going to adopt a story, right, and talk about it and complain about it with somebody, even if it's not your story, but you're going to go on, you're creating it into reality as well, because you're agreeing with it. You're listening to it. You're talking about it. Okay. If you don't want something to happen, don't partake in that conversation. It's gas prices. We all complain they're so high. No wonder they keep getting higher. So all we do is sit around and complain about how high gas prices are. It's so funny. So me and Andrea decided, okay, no, we're going to always, every time we complain about gas prices, we're going to say, no, they're low. They're low. They're always low. And now he comes home and he's like, you wouldn't believe it. He's like, I got 20 cents off. I used my credit card, then the points card, and blah, blah. Gas got cheap for us all of a sudden, right? So, and you may not think these little bits of complaining with other people in your 3D are huge, but they really, really are. We're speaking things into existence. We're making it real into someone else's listening. Okay. But it's just as powerful when you're thinking about it and having an inner conversation of fighting with somebody, and having an inner conversation of telling this woman off, that's basically, making your mom go through a stressful situation. Let's change the story. Your mom's not stressed about it. Your mom's calm and relaxed because your mom knows that it's going to end and she's going to give up, and she's just given up and she's moving on. Right. And you're positive about it as well. Right. So yeah, change the story for all the players in the story, because you are the director of your story. Okay. So guys, I intend that this video has helped you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year. Yeah, a lot of our coaches are having sales. Definitely check that out. Yeah. And guys, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.